Joining us now is a man who doesn't row, actually. He just swims. Put him on a boat. He says, turn off the engine. I'll fucking do this one.
Yep.
You know? And the boat is actually going faster than the boat would have if it had twin turbos coming off the back, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who was voted the #1 athlete of the 21st century. Guy with 23 gold medals in the pool, an absolute specimen. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing, dude? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm talking to the greatest athlete of the 21st century. Hey, congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. Now, I will say we have had a rocky relationship with this ESPN's top 100 list, top athletes of the 21st century. An impossible task to rank the top 100 athletes from every single sport. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult to do. And as it continued to go down, we got messages from people like, hey, not everybody, like this is, people doing stats and research and some journal and things like that. So I get it. As soon as we saw you were #1, I think everybody on earth was like, that makes sense. So I want to say you added some legitimacy to a list that we were kind of questioning in there. And I thought Serena was going to be so Serena too, completely understandable. When you get that, does that mean something to you whenever that's voted? In the way it was, everybody reacted to it.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question. For me, to be on a list with some of the greatest athletes of our time, right? Of our generations, right? Of everything that we've seen and some of the greatest athletes in their respected sports. So Messi, Bron, Serena, Brady, Federer, Simone Biles, White Mamba, Kobe, Katie Ledecky, Usain, Tiger. If you think these are some of the biggest sports icons on the planet. So to be voted #1, I was speechless. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm happy you're getting your love, just like you did at the Olympic trials here at Lucas Oil Stadium, And I know whenever you stop competing in a sport, any sport, there's obviously an era transition because your entire life changes and everything. So watching you get the ovation that you got at Lucas Oil Stadium from the swim community, which it was record-breaking, obviously, with how big it was, and the swim community was an awesome one. And then seeing this happen, especially a week out from the Olympics, proud of you, buddy. You've earned it all.
Thank you.
You've earned it all.
Thank you.
Can I ask you some questions now about these Olympians we're about to watch? Not them specifically, but their life and yours in particular.
Yeah.
So I just assumed because you were a teenager whenever you were at the trials and then whenever you go to the Olympics, and we pulled your first ever gold medal. It was in Athens when you were 19. It was a medley, and I believe you literally broke a world record with your first gold medal. But you had been shut out, I guess, in the previous Olympics 4 years earlier than that. You lost the one race that you were an individual. So this was your first gold medal, your first world record. At this moment, there's real joy and you lose your mind, and the commentators actually say, I've never seen him react like that. Had you dedicated your entire life for this one moment, do you feel like that is an accurate depiction of the way you spent your time throughout your childhood, teenage years, and everything?
Yeah, I think as swimmers, you always want to have this opportunity. You want to have this opportunity to represent your country and to win a gold medal. And you see that celebration right there to finish. That was my teammate, Eric Vent. USA had gone 1-2 the year before, the Olympics before in Sydney, so we wanted to continue that tradition. So he was able to sneak into the finals and then snuck in for second. And I think I was more excited for that than anything else. But, again, hearing the national anthem while there's a gold medal around your neck, it's the greatest thing that I've ever experienced, right? Being able to win a gold medal for your country. But, I think it's winning a gold medal is less than 1% of 1%. So, for me to be able to go through the hard work and the dedication and what I did, not missing a single day of workout for 6 years, and then to see it pay off, you're like, hell yeah, I can do this. I can do more. What's next?
Well, I love to hear that. And it's that type of dedication and that type of mindset that separates you from, I swim in a couple pools, allegedly in a couple canals, allegedly. It's all a lie. But that mindset is what separates, from the greats to everybody else. And you said for 6 years you didn't miss a day for a workout. Is that standard operating procedure for these Olympians? Because we talk about, okay, no. All right, sweet. Okay. So you're a different animal. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, but so the thing is in the sport of swimming, if you take 1 day off, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were. So typically people are taking Sunday off every single week. So they're not back to where they were on Saturday until Tuesday. right? So, for me, that whole entire year, 1 year, I'm getting 52 extra days. Really? So for me, that's an eternity, right? And especially if you're trying to win races by hundredths of a second, because you're going to be more prepared than that other person is, right? Like I'm sitting across from my desk here, and I have a photo of me winning a race by a hundredth of a second, right? Like I did that finish 1,000 times, 5,000 times, right? 10,000 times, whatever it was. That exact finish, I practiced that in practice, right? So if I ever had that moment in a race, especially at the Olympic Games, I'm ready for it.
What, hold on, though.
Yeah, I was a psycho.
Hold on. Yes, that's what I was about to say. So, I was told, and I guess in theory they probably have stats that back it up. If I miss 1 day, it actually takes 2 days to get me back. That sounds like bullshit that some coach would say, right, to somebody to instill a work ethic. And I'm assuming you have times and stats for this entire thing. But for 6 years, you don't have a single day off. Mentally, that had to be, like, at what point do you just say, yeah, this is just what I do. I just swim all day, every day. Never, and when you were done swimming, did you think back?
I was destroying world records. Like, the goals that I had were being achieved. So I was like, all right, cool. How far can we take this? That's what I was really trying to do. I was seeing just what my level, what my max was. Where could I really take this thing and try to blow it open? So the 2004 Olympics were amazing. The 08, going 8 for 8, breaking 7 world records was awesome. 2012 was I wasn't fully engaged, but then 2016, being able to come back and finish on my terms, my way, and back on top. For me, that's all I wanted. I wanted to retire that way.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
You said 2012 you weren't fully engaged. What do you mean? Like leading up to that Olympics, did you not do the prep that you had done in the past?
Yeah, so after 2008.
Oh, yeah, you were smoking weed. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So in 2012, I basically took, after 2008, I took some time off. I wanted to kind of get away from the sport. I'd never really taken.
I wanted to sleep in on a Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
But I wanted to be a kid. I think that for me, I was like, what does this feel like, right? And then, there were days there were weeks where I wasn't even showing up for practice, 2 years out from the 2012 games. So, at that point, I was kind of 1 foot on the boat, 1 foot on the dock, and 2 years out is when I really started to ramp up and try to really get fully prepared, even though it takes 4 years to get ready for an Olympics. So I kind of was like 65, 75%. So, being able to do what I did, I was pissed at myself more than anything else. I probably shouldn't have swam some of those races, but me being as stubborn as I was and wanting to win everything that I could, I wanted to. Yeah,
because when you get back in the moment, you don't think about the 2 years prior that you were kind of operating. You're like, I'm back in it. And what's the thing, the pain of regret and the pain of something? You felt that, I assume? That's why going into 16, it was a different animal? Like when you were in 2012, you felt different in the pool and you were like, this is my fault?
Without question. Like I knew that I got the results that I deserved in 2012. And that was kind of like a what if moment. Like I didn't want to look down the road 20 years and say, what if I just would have, pulled my head out of my ass and done something right and done something with intention.
You're a human, bro.
That's all it was.
Hey,
but that's for me, like to retire from a career that you've spent your whole life to, you want to finish with a good taste in your mouth. And what I had in 2012 wasn't that. So I didn't want to walk away from the sport at that time because I still had unfinished business. So coming back in 16, being able to, win the 200 IM 4 times in a row, win the 200 fly where I got touched out in 2012. We won a couple relays, right? Like, for me, it was just a perfect way to go out. And I had my firstborn son in the audience. So him and my wife were there. And it was just, the perfect way to put the cherry on top of the cake.
Okay, let's continue that conversation. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so Michael, talking about, going out on your own terms, you're clearly a competitive psychopath. Like, you don't get to where you're at without being that. How hard was it to actually turn it off and decide to retire, especially with some of your recent comments where I feel like you still feel like you could get in the pool and medal and dominate in these games? Like, how hard was it to actually turn it off and just be like, nope, I'm done. I'm good with where what I've accomplished?
I think in the swimming chapter of it, it was pretty simple because there weren't really any other goals that I had, right? I thought I was breaking the world record in the 200 IM in 16 and I was just short, right? Like medals for me, like winning more medals. No. I know, right? I swear, I was winning the race by a body length, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what these guys are capable of. I know the times they've gone this year. I should be smashing this world record. And I hit the wall, and I remember looking up and being like, but then I realized that I had won that race in 4 straight Olympics. So like for me, like that's kind of cool. Like that's a pretty cool stat. But I think back to your question, like, retiring from the sport of swimming, it was just pretty easy. I had to find different ways to channel that competitiveness. I mean, I have a golf club sitting next to me. Like, I'm a psycho golfer, so like I've kind of invested a lot of time there. But I also have 4 kids, so there are different things that I'm trying to achieve and accomplish. And mental health is something that I'm really trying to tackle as well. So things that I'm very passionate about, I think, help me keep my mind clear and keep me just being me.
Well, also a businessman, Chili Goat Tubs is the Goat Tubs are awesome. I see the thing. Can't wait to get one. Cannot wait to get one.
You got one. They chatted yesterday or the day before, and they are going to, I guess I just need your address now, and since you guys are right down the road from the plant, it'll be there quick.
Yes. I'm paying for it though. I want to support the biz, so that is gonna.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'd like to gift one to the Thunderdome.
All right, so I'll buy one for my house then.
If you insist.
I do.
There you go. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did it there.
Thank you.
So whenever you say, oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. I just won the same event 4 times at 4 Olympics. And then people talk about you being the greatest Olympian of all time. Like, do you know that? Do you feel that? Was there a moment where you forgot that about yourself? Like whenever you leave the sport, like legitimately? Because I think it was a conversation amongst the swimming community whenever you were coming back this year when I was there, that everybody was like pumped that you were getting like, I don't want to say back into it. I don't know if there was a little separation or if there was any of that.
There was never separation. It's just, whenever I'm able to come to meets, I try to come to meets. And I took my family, my wife and I went to World Championships last year. I went to Olympic trials this year. I covered some. I'll be covering some with NBC over in Paris. So for me, I enjoy being around the sport. This is a sport that I'm still passionate about, and I still want to grow. Australia has the biggest swimming fan base on the planet, and for me, I'd like to showcase really what we can do as a country. I was kind of weary of what was going to happen with the team, but after seeing kind of what we've really done over the last 2 or 3 years, like kind of really making some headwaves, and obviously after Olympic trials, a couple world records, some American records. The men and women are ready to go.
Hell yeah, they are. In Australia, I guess that is, I learned quickly. Yeah. They're trying to
big time rivalry.
They're trying to get you back in the pool. They're trying to get you back in the pool, pal.
Hey, somebody wants to poke the bear.
I heard.
It'll take a lot.
What did that Aussie say about Michael Phelps? They said he couldn't swim.
Yeah, the guy's washed up.
What did I forget what he said?
He said, Michael Phelps is, really, he's kind of a second-rate swimmer. Actually, if you think about it, he's not the greatest ever. Not in my book.
That was exactly
Somebody sent me a stat of my career against Aussies in the Olympic Games and World Championships. Go look up those numbers.
Hell yeah.
And I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking facts.
No, yeah, we're just talking. Hey, this is history. This is a history lesson. Yep. This is not a.
Correct.
It's not a
Correct.
shit talking. I mean, this is certainly one of them here. But aside from
but also I will say, by saying that, I have some of my best friends in the swimming world are Australian.
Yeah.
Like Grant Hackett, Ian Thorpe are some of my closest mates who I still talk to regularly. Right. So like when we're in the pool, we want to literally beat the living crap out of you. Like, we don't care where you're from. Like, we want to win, period. But out of the pool, we are friends. Like, there's no harshness between us. Like, it is, competition is competition, right?
Yeah, but we're not losing to the Aussies.
We're not losing.
I agree, especially with that lady I saw on the news where she said, you hear that national anthem and you want to puke. It's like, lady,
whoa,
you need to slow it down.
You take a shot at our national anthem, that's problems.
Concur. That's kind of.
We got problems.
We can't wait for next week. But you talk about the team and how it's built. We got some mainstays. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, in the backstroke, Michael, it's usually death taxes Ryan Murphy. He's 29 now. Can we lock him in winning in the backstroke at plus 160?
I mean, there are a couple. I haven't seen any lines. I saw some at trials that I thought you could hammer. Are you talking in the 100 or the 200 back? Sorry, I know too much about this.
Whichever one you tell us, 100 or the 200. Murphy's huge. That dude is he is a barn.
Backstrokers are big units. I mean, they are massive, 6-pack. There's not an ounce of fat. I mean, that's one of the hardest races, I think, to swim long course, just because it's so taxing on your legs, especially because you're spending so much time underneath the water. And if you look at what Murphy does, that's his specialty. I do like Murph's chances. I know what he's gone through over the last year or two, really to get himself ready for this last one. I think he's got a great shot. Ledecky, I don't know what the odds are in the 800. That's probably another one that she'll win.
How about the minus 20,000 one for the mile swim for her? How about that? That seems like a good bet.
Bro. Yeah, if you want to lay $1 million, go ahead.
Connor's got a question for you, Phelps.
Yeah, Phelps, in between your, races, what are you doing? And then also, what kind of game are you sharing with the swimmers now? Like, are you giving them the recipe? Like, hey, I did this, this, and this at this time and this time, so that they kind of have, like, not the blessing from Michael Phelps, but kind of the recipe for a gold medal?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple athletes on the team that do reach out. My number is open to the team, has been ever since I retired. I'd like to help them accomplish whatever goals and dreams they want to accomplish. So a couple of them have kind of chimed into me asking about like the mental approach of it and really kind of what to really think. What are you going to experience through these next couple of weeks, right? Because you go through the Olympic trials, which is so difficult, and it's almost harder than the Olympic Games. You have 2,500 people that are swimming for 2 spots, right? So then you get to the Olympics, and the Olympic Games is the same exact thing as every other meet, right? It's just the Olympic Games. The pool is the same, the temperature is the same, the lights are the same. That's it. So I try to help people just talk through whatever whatever they're worried about, whatever they're nervous about, because they've done the preparation to get to that point, right? It's because at that point, it's just kind of let me out of that cage and let me go.
Okay, and there's some people in like our sport that show up when the lights are the brightest, and then there's some people, obviously, they're a little bit different. At Lucas Oil, that was a lot of what the conversation I was having with Mr. Sockwell and the entire USA swimming team. It's like, this is the biggest crowd that all of the most, like, obviously it's a world record, but like some of these people have not swam in front of a group of people like this ever before. So they were like intrigued to see how they handled it. And I didn't even think about swimming having to handle that because it's all timing, right? So like all you got to do is just accidentally one time and then it's all ruined. 4 years worth of work is worth nothing. Like, is that the mindset of it going in?
I mean, you got one chance every 4 years.
So what a nightmare.
Right?
You Olympians are insane. No. It's just like no chance to get back. Like Nathan Chen, remember?
Yeah.
Nathan Chen, a couple Winter Olympics ago. 2 Winter Olympics ago. I learned, and we are obnoxious about and thank you for everything you provided us.
Yeah. Awesome.
We were able to talk shit so much because it was so much fun. It was all in prime time and the way it all went. But Nathan Chen, I learned about this guy on like a news thing. They did his entire special. And I was like, we got the guy. So literally led the show. I'm like, figure skating. Sorry about it. It's our sport. This guy's going to be here for the next 10 years. And then literally did perfect and then slipped and fell. Over.
Yeah.
Failure. This guy sucks. This guy wasted his entire life doing this because his just lost a blade in the middle of a.
But the crazy thing is like, what if you're like, what if you don't get the right warm up? What if your routine is off? Like,
what if you didn't sleep well? What if you didn't sleep well the night before?
Right? Without question. Like when I was in Sydney, my very first Olympics, I took the wrong credential. I took my roommate's credential by accident and went to the pool. And then I couldn't get back into the village because I had his credential. I was 15 years old. I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. So I ended up being like 10 minutes off of my normal routine. And sometimes that's all it takes to kind of flip the switch on somebody.
Yeah, I couldn't even fathom just waking up. I don't feel good today.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it doesn't matter because you've worked for 14 years for today. So go ahead.
I had that feeling before this race, that photo I was talking about before that I won by 100th of a second in 2008. After I won the 200 IM, I literally said to Bob, I said, I got nothing left. And he looked at me and he said, too fucking bad. You got one more race. Let's go.
Hey, that's a you problem, buddy. Yeah. That is.
I was like, okay, let's go. We got one more race. No problem. I'll get hyped for it. And at that point, we had Cobes, we had Braun, we had, President up in the stands. And I'm like, I'm going. I'm not losing this race.
Oh, yeah. I remember the whole scene with the Wolverines on there were coming through. It was they had a camera on. The Phelps show is about to begin in about 13 minutes or so. As you see right now, he is taking his massive wingspan and smacking it like he's a fucking dinosaur from before the, the big boom or whatever the hell. I mean, it was awesome. You were a show. You were great for our country. Happy to hear that you were able to pull. I do like the fact that Bob was just references Bob. Do I know who Bob is?
Bob is my coach, Bob Bowman. He was my coach for 22, 23 years.
Still coaching?
He is. He just took the head coaching job at University of Texas. He won the national championship here at ASU last year, and then just got offered the Texas role. And that's a big opportunity. Their setup down there is second to none. I broke my first world record in that swimming pool. So a lot of cool history, and they got a bunch of studs coming in there and a bunch of people transferring in.
He's training some of the Olympians, right? Because that was like a couple of the conversation was like Phelps is coaches with that guy. Phelps is coaching with that guy. That's like a part of the whole thing now.
Yeah. So one of I think the part that you're referring to is one of his swimmers broke my last individual world record. That was a big thing. He's a French swimmer. I swam with his dad back in the day. So it's kind of a cool story. And honestly, I knew that records are, they're not going to last forever. For me, I wanted one more thing. I wanted my record to be the longest standing individual swimming world record on the planet. And it was. So I held it for, I think it's like 21 years.
There you go.
So that was something that was super special to me. And I'm excited to watch him this summer. Leon Marchand, he's probably going to win the 400 IM, and to be able to do it on your home country's soil, I think is really special.
The place will go bananas. It'll smell so terrible in there.
Brutal.
It'll be, because there's no real. I don't think they do deodorant or anything.
No, they don't.
And they'll be so excited to be inside the pool. I mean, the chlorine smell, I guess, helps a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's a lot of chlorine smell.
All right, go ahead, AJ.
Speaking of that, Michael, I know you focus on the swimmers that are swimming in the pool, and that's generally what you did. Are you excited to get over to France and check out the river, the Seine? I believe that they're trying to figure it out. Do you have any idea if they're going to be able to use this for the Olympics, and if not, where are these swimmers going to go?
It's. I would assume they have a backup plan. I know they've spent a ton of money trying. I would assume there has to be some other like small body of water, like a pond or a lake, that they could use, because they've had issues in the past with temperature of the water being too high, and they've had to relocate just on a whim. So I would hope to see them to be able to swim down the Seine. I think that would be iconic. Yes, there is a lot of history of it being extremely dirty. And again, I think they spent over $1 billion to try to figure a way to clean it up. I know with the opening ceremonies coming down the Seine, that's going to be an iconic view, especially with all those massive, the God, I can't even think of it. I can, but I'm not blanking on the word. The Eiffel Tower and all these different.
Oh, the Arc de Triomphe.
Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, and the red light district, I think, is over there.
Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, all that stuff. Obviously, not. We're all too old, but you're talking about just historic places around Paris. You're going to be part of the coverage. When is the swimming? Is it middle? When is the swimming on the Olympics? Do you know?
First week.
First week.
Let's go.
Yeah, I leave on Wednesday and fly over. And I think I'm on air basically the next day. So it'll be a jam-filled schedule. I'm excited. I'll be excited just to watch some of the guys, but reconnect with some other past Olympians.
And Rowdy on the call is obviously always fantastic. Hearing you chit-chat and decipher what's taking place potentially in between the ears of these swimmers underneath those incredibly tight.
Oh, yeah.
So they gave me 2 of those caps so tight. I mean, like, incredibly uncomfortable. How about those costumes you guys were wearing there for a little bit? Those long,
full body.
They were like almost like a girdle. I mean, they were so tight, dude. They would suck everything in, and they were a lot more buoyant. That's really just what it was.
And what was it about you?
Caps, I used to wear. Go ahead.
What was it about you? You had longer arms, and you have like naturally webbed feet. And like webbed.
I don't have webbed feet or hands, guys. My wingspan's 6'7" and I'm 6'4". That's it.
No, I heard you had fish hands.
Webbed feet like platypus.
You're like a mermaid. I heard. Yeah, but you've changed that since retiring.
Nothing.
Yeah, you cut them out.
You just get rid of it.
So all that shit was a lie? All that stuff was a lie whenever they were...
Everyone's just trying to make shit up.
Well, I hate that. I mean, because
he's too good. He's too good. He must have webbed feet. That's what they thought. Hey, this guy's winning too much. He's got to have something going on.
Yeah, they thought
I once got asked if I felt bad for winning all those medals. I looked at the reporter and started laughing.
Yeah, that's the right answer. 23.
Fucking no.
23 golds. Yeah, I didn't take it. You know when people were like sleep in on Sunday or something?
Yeah, that wasn't me. I was in the water at 7.
6 years straight. So do I feel bad? No. Should you? Because you have nowhere near that work ethic? Yes. Get out of my face. All right. We appreciate the hell out of you, brother. Have a great Olympics.
Guys.
Thank you for always answering the cold calls, too. That's very nice.
Always. Hey, and thank you guys for doing what you guys do. I spend a lot of time watching you guys when I'm in the weight room. So you guys are always keeping it real, always making me laugh. And I love what you do. Keep being you.
We appreciate that. Do you swim ever anymore?
Only if my head really is in a dark place.
Really?
It's the only place where I can just be, right? Like I don't have to think or do anything.
So if you were to get back into an Olympic race, or let's say there was like celebrity races or something in the swimming, let's say swimming gets into, what race would be the race that you would be able to get back in and be the best at?
So it's kind of funny you say that. So watching the Olympic trials, my son said, my 4-year-old Maverick says, "Daddy, do you think you could still get in the water and compete with these guys?"
Yes.
And I said, Bud, if I wanted to, yes, I could. And I said, I think I could still win. I said, but that also means that you're not going to see Daddy very often, right? You're not going to be able to spend time with me when you come home from school. And he's like, I don't want that. And I was like, I don't want that either. So that was the end of the conversation for us.
Okay.
For me, yes, could I? I think it would take 4 years to do.
What's your event,
really
though?
do. I think I could win the 200 IM. Like, I think some of those times aren't, like, they're going, like, I was going faster 8 years ago than most of the world's going now. So I still think if I focused on one event, yeah, I think I could get the job done.
All right. Well, you always have that in the back pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
So like when Maverick turns 20 or something, 16 years from now, there's
Get in the pool.
just
50.
get in
All
there,
right, let's
start
do it.
swimming
Yeah.
around.
It'll be like me. It'll be like Bronny and his son just hooping together. It'll be like me and Mavi just going at it.
Bingo.
Right?
And you got to put your webs back on.
Yep.
You got to do the whole thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 23-time gold medalist, number one athlete of the 21st century, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude, man.
Legend.
I don't know how I genuinely have no idea how we linked up. Just started happening. It was really cool. I think I got a DM one time, and I was like, I think Phelps just sent me a DM.
He legit answers every single time you call him. It's awesome. It's awesome.
He's like, if we text too, like I'll send it to, I'll see something on TV that I won't know, like it'll be like an Olympic question. Like for instance, the sex in the village and everything.
Yeah.
Like I've never been in the Olympic, and they got these new beds where you can't be boning on.
Yeah, cardboard beds.
Yeah,
On purpose.
Yeah, can't be boning. So like I'm not asking him directly about that, but I'm like, hey, how much of the stuff that I'm hearing about Olympic Village, like he's like the person I literally just send a text to and ask, and then one thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden we're just, let's just FaceTime Phelps, and let's just see how it is. He's awesome though. Like every morning he is still getting after it. Like I think he talked about that mental health stuff. He wants to help people a lot. Like that is a part of his thing, and I could imagine he's making good money giving speeches to corporations and other stuff like that, AJ. You'd want to hear Phelps talk about drive, work ethic, team, everything. That seems right in the world of him.
Yeah, I heard him speak on at a charity golf thing years ago somewhere, and he was talking. The event got rained out, and it turned into Michael Phelps' speaking gig for everybody there, and he was going back and forth telling stories, and people were peppering him with questions. Like it was very entertaining to sit there and listen to.
So he at least has 23 stories. Right?
Yeah.
Because speakers will have like a gold medal story. Hey, here's my gold medal story. He's got 23 of those. That's just in the bank. That is just right in the back pocket. I remember in Athens, I was 19, and then you could go into and that was when I won my first gold medal. And obviously I would win a few more. Big pop from the crowd.